What's up with it, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Raider Honcho, and I'm back with a brand new video for you.
Remy in my cup, turn me up, what we talking about? Now we doing us, moving up, what we talking about? Raider flags waving off the truck, what they talking about? Raider Nation dominating, only thing to talk about. Black shades, black tee, that's Raider Honcho, baby. East Coast energy, that's Raider Honcho, baby. Head coach.
Alright guys, get right into it. You already know the vibes. You already know what type of time I'm on. I've been waiting. I've been plotting. I've been patient. I've been trying to figure out when would be the right time to get back on the platform. And right now has got to be the time, because as fans, as Raider fans in specific, as Raider fans in particular, we have got to be some of the most delusional people on God's green earth. And I'm proud of that. But we got to have honest conversations, okay? That's what I feel like I bring to the platform. We have got to have honest conversations because yes, I am a fan. Yes, I am a diehard. But yes, I also have a rational, logical thinking process, okay? So when you talk about the Raiders and are the Raiders back? First of all, this offseason has been great with the signings we have had, with the hirings we have had, with the drafts we done had, right? We done got some pieces. But the conversations surrounding the Las Vegas Raiders are playoffs or not. Are the Raiders actually back? We have got to have an honest conversation about that. So when you talk about the Raiders being back, it has to be a plethora of things. Okay, offense, defense, special teams. You got to have the horses in the stables. You got to have the dogs for the fight. Do the Raiders have all of these things? Let's take a deep dive into that. I like Fernando Mendoza, right? I think the Raiders did what they had to do by drafting Fernando Mendoza. I don't necessarily like Kirk Cousins as a quarterback. We all know when Shador was coming out and everybody was like, well, do you want Kirk Cousins? And I said, I don't want Cousins, I want brothers. And we know what we meant by that, goddammit. And I stand by that. Kirk Cousins is not the type of guy at this age, after these injuries, that are going to carry you to a playoff team, that are going to carry you to a division title, that are going to carry you to multiple wins. Now, I can be wrong. I highly doubt it, but I could be wrong. But the last I saw of Kirk Cousins, he was really bad. Now, track record says he's a pretty solid quarterback, pretty accurate quarterback, but all those things don't really matter right now, because what have you done for me lately? And lately he was trash, and he damn near got his ass kicked out of Atlanta, okay? Now, if Fernando Mendoza was the guy that a lot of us thought he was, or think he is, right? If Fernando Mendoza was a true number one pick, if Fernando Mendoza was a true number one talent, if Fernando Mendoza was the new face of the franchise, Kirk Cousins would not be the starting quarterback right now. I should say right now. Let's just say game 1, game 2, game 3, whatever the case may be. If he is the guy that you think he is, Kirk Cousins would not be the starting quarterback. So you have to ask yourself, is Fernando Mendoza really that good? Is Fernando Mendoza really the guy that we think he is? Is Fernando Mendoza really someone who can carry this organization and take over and just be the guy, the next Tom Brady type figure that can just be the quarterback for 10 to 15 years and get us a bunch of wins and get us to the playoffs? If he's really that guy, you got to play him. If he's that guy. I don't know if he is. I didn't see enough in Indiana to think that he was a bona fide number one pick. I just thought the Raiders had no choice, because if you don't take him and he turns into Aaron Rodgers, you're screwed, right? If you do take him and he turns out to be a bust, I mean, you did what you had to do, right? But it starts with Fernando Mendoza. When you talk about the Raiders back, you got to have a quarterback. I don't know if we have a quarterback yet, because I don't know what Fernando Mendoza can be. I like the potential. I like what I'm hearing about him. He says all the right things in the interviews. But if he was really the talent, like the talent that a number one quarterback is, he would be playing right now. He would already be playing. And I'm going to say at least start of the season. In training camp, who knows? They might be doing things for optics. I don't think Tom Brady went and got Kirk Cousins to not play him. But I just feel like personally that if Fernando Mendoza was truly a number one pick, truly a number one talent, truly a franchise quarterback that can take over, I think he would be playing right now. I think he would just already be the starter if he was really what we think he is, right? So maybe they don't think he's that. We'll see. I do think the Raiders have a lot of pieces. I like the Brock Bowers. I love the signing of Linderbaum. I think Ashton Jeanty is going to probably be a top 5 running back in the NFL this year. I believe these things. I honestly believe that the Raiders have upgraded tremendously in a lot of areas. But that receiving room is ass. I don't know if you need a Randy Moss or a Jerry Rice or even a Tim Brown to win you a Super Bowl. I don't know if you really need that in this day and age, but I know a quarterback needs to have a true number one, and I understand the idea of Brock Bowers as a number one, but in reality, You need someone who can take the top off the defense, and you need someone to be able to take double teams out of the way. You got to have somebody that opens up the middle of the field when you're running the deep routes and have things come up underneath. I don't know if the Raiders have that right now. I don't really trust the wide receiver room. I believe I'm hearing reports that the receivers are struggling at training camp right now. I'm not really sure. That's not a great sign to me because I don't think the Raiders secondary is good enough to make a starting receiving core struggle. That's just the truth of the matter. I know we have a lot of young pieces on that side of the ball as far as defensive back goes, and if it's Darian Porter, if it's going to be Stokes, if it's going to be McCoy. I heard Masters is doing great things. But we really just don't know. And the conversations that I'm seeing on Twitter and Instagram is that we are just too gullible and we are just too much of fans to be able to separate what real expectations are versus what we want the expectations to be as fans. And that's just something that we have to deal with. But the Raiders as an organization is just so bad and so volatile that it's going to take a lot to prove to me that we have turned the corner. I think the Raiders could win 7 games. I mean, their over-under is 5.5 from the books. I think that's kind of disrespectful. I think the Raiders can win 7 to 8 games. I believe that. But I also believe the Raiders could mess around and win 4 or 5 games. These things are possible. And the fact that those things are possible, the Raiders are not back yet. The Raiders are not the same team that Rich Gannon and them led. They're not the 2016 Raiders with Derek Carr. It's not there yet. It doesn't mean we don't have good pieces. It doesn't mean that we don't have talent. It just means that it's going to take a little more than that. It's going to take consistency for us to be back. Right? The Raiders are going to be very, very inexperienced in a lot of positions this year. In a lot of positions, we have to stop thinking that the NFL is varsity football. We have to stop thinking that the NFL is NCAA. We have to stop thinking that it's arena football. It takes a lot to win in the NFL. It is very hard to win in the NFL, and good teams lose all the time. So I don't know if I can put the Raiders as a good team. Based on what we were last year, based on what we were in the year before that, I don't know if we can say the Raiders are a good team. I think the Raiders are an improved team. Absolutely. But there are other improved teams in the NFL. I think the Raiders this year are going to be very similar to maybe what the Giants were last year, when you got the influx of the Jackson Dart with the Scatterbull, you had some new life in there. I think that that's a high possibility, but I did not consider the Giants to be a good team last year. Now, do they have the ability to go win a game? Yes, I think that we had chances and opportunities to win games with Geno Smith, and I think we upgraded the quarterback position. But we have to kind of remember all the steps it takes for teams to go from being bad to being good. It's multiple drafts, it's multiple free agencies, it's multiple off seasons. I'm not saying the Raiders are going to be ass. I'm not saying the Raiders are trash. I'm not saying that. But we do have deficiencies in this team. We do have holes in this roster. We do have flaws. We have brand new coaches. I love Clint Kubiak as a coordinator. I don't know what he is as a head coach. And of course, we hear all these great things coming out of training camp. We hear our reporters telling us how efficient it is, how this looks like a real training camp. All these things, A, we've heard them before, and B, they're coming from our people. We are the guys on the sideline. I would love to see a Kansas City team reporter come and watch our practice. I would love to see a Patriots team reporter come and watch our practice. I want to hear what the team looks like from someone who's not in the organization, someone who's not wearing silver and black, because it has to be objective. I love all the reporting that I'm hearing, but I have to take it with a grain of salt because these are people that have ulterior motives. Those are just the facts. I am not sitting here to be negative and tell you that the Raiders are going to be ass. I'm not sitting here to tell you shouldn't be hopeful. I love that we're hopeful as fans, but I, as part of the fan base and as somebody with a platform, or used to have a platform, I don't even know if I still have a platform anymore, I think it's important, and I think it's some type of my responsibility to also add the other side to the coin. There's two sides of it. I get the positive sides that you're going to hear from a lot of podcasters and a lot of reporters and a lot of content creators. I get that, and I think we should be positive, but there's a thin line between being positive and delusional. There is a very thin line when it comes to Raiders fans from being positive and delusional, from being positive and logical. Like, there's very thin lines, and as fans, it's easy to blur those lines, okay? But somebody from the outside looking in, because I'm not someone who does salary cap stuff. I'm not someone who's going out to find who the 7th lineman is on our team. Somebody who's just, as a fan, who can just watch and observe. It looks like we still have a long way to go to be a good team. We still have a long way to go to be back. And I think it starts with a nucleus that we have, right? I like the Genties. I like the Bowers. I think our offensive line is going to be much improved. Obviously, I like what we did on defense when you talk about Nakobe Deans. I love that Max Crosby is back. There's a lot of good things that I do like about this team, but I've been, as a coach, I've been a part of teams that have good players and you just don't get the wins. I've been a part of teams that have great players and you don't seem to be as good as you thought you were going to be. And I know the NFL is a league that the best of the best, man. It's the best of the best. And the Raiders can be 100 times better than they were last year and still finish under 500. That's how bad we've been. That's how poor we've been in an organization. So I'm just here to be the flip side of the coin, to all the positivity that is great, to all the high expectations that is great, to all the it's a new season, look at the schedule, all of that is great. But we have to remember, we have to keep in mind that these are the Raiders that we're talking about. And the Raiders find a way to Raider. And I'm going to live and die by that until otherwise. So until they show me they can put together stretches where they don't lose back-to-back games, till they show me that they've made the right draft picks and we see what's going on the field, until then I have to be honest with myself and with my platform that I do not know if the Raiders are as good as some of the people reporting they are. I hope they're better than they are being reported as. I hope they're as good as they're being reported as. I don't want the Raiders to be bad, but I don't want to sit here and have another season where it's like, oh, I thought this was the guy, I thought that was the guy, I thought this and thought that. Well, guess what? None of us get paid to think. Okay, we get paid to do certain jobs, and none of them are just to think. So what you thought the Raiders were going to be really does not matter. The reality of the situation is we do not know. We do not know. If we didn't draft Fernando Mendoza and we just went and signed Kirk Cousins, would you think that's a team ready to go make a playoff push? I don't know. I like the young talent we have. I love the draft picks. I love Mike Washington Jr. There's a lot of things that I think the Raiders have to offer, and I do believe that they're going to be a tough out for every team we play. I do believe they're going to be competent. I do believe that they're going to look like a real football team, but that does not always mean wins. And until we start winning consistently, Raiders are not back. Get down in the comments and let me know what you think. If you like the video, like the video. If you like the content on this channel, subscribe to the channel. Hit me up on Instagram and Twitter, both at Raider Honcho. And until the next time, as always, Raider Honcho out.